Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Drowning Pools podcast. This man's laughing, and it's episode 64.
So I saw a movie over the week.
Nice.
Did I hear about this on Twitter?
Maybe, potentially, probably. If I tweeted about Alita Battle Angel, then yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh shit! Oh shit! I got something to actually talk about this week. Then.
All right, I didn't like this movie.
No,
Nah,
I didn't
really.
think you would.
Because you know what? It had too much of that bullshit that the OVA had with what's his name? Pablo, Horace, Hugo.
Hugo. Yeah.
The most unlikable piece of shit boyfriend character in anything fucking ever.
Very much so.
So he was in this movie. I kind of wish he was not. Or
I wish he was less of a. No. So the thing about it is I wish it took more time to accomplish what he did.
yeah, you know what? I think I also probably would have liked it better if his stupid dickhead little friend wasn't also in the movie. The guy who just kind of hated Alita for no real reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
But you gotta have a reason for it.
he could have just not fucking existed.
He could have just not existed.
Like, you didn't need this extra character to try to take the heat off of Hugo, you know? Because Hugo could have just been the guy doing bad shit,
Yep.
you know? But
Which is what it should have been.
yeah. Which it kind of was, but he was trying to get out when it happened and all that fucking dumb shit, but
Yeah.
it just didn't really play out all that well. I did like when that motherfucker got cut in half, though. Zapan's my favorite character because of that.
There's so many, like... So the thing about the movie is that as a whole, it sucks, but it has a lot of good moments.
It's very, like whenever a movie gets made of, out of, a young adult novel, you know, it kind of feels like that. Like, it feels like, what is that fucking... Katniss Everdeen? What's that movie? Where all the kids just fucking kill each other.
Oh, Jesus.
I literally read this in school, but I can't remember what it's called.
Not Nighthawk. It's a bird. Mockingjay.
No, that's the second book. Mockingjay is the second one. I cannot believe this.
Derek, do you have any insight?
I lost whatever the fuck you were saying.
We're talking about the book where it's a battle royale.
So that's the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Hunger Games, there it is.
I was like, the hunting fields, the
killing place.
And Mockingjay is the third book, because Catching Fire is the second book.
That's right, yeah.
Which also, by the way, is a fantastic Minority 905 song. And if we have any pop punk listeners, go check out Minority 905. They're fucking amazing.
Good deal.
Okay.
I'll probably do that later. It really feels like, you know, super generic with her being like this young girl who's out in this new world and she's discovering everything. And there's a lot of shots of her like looking at the city and going, "Whoa!
Look at my big eyes."
Yeah.
That freaked me the fuck out.
You know, when you're just looking at her on screen, it's kind of fine, but when she's walking by like everybody else, it's kind of jarring. But
I think you get used to it by
you do
30
get
minutes,
you do
30,
get used to
30
it.
40 minutes into it.
Yeah, you do get used to it. I think if they had just made everyone kind of CGI looking like her, like at least a little bit, then I probably would have enjoyed that aspect of it more. But it just it just feels like it stands out a little too much. Like it's just whatever.
I think it stands out a lot less when she's next to other androids.
Yeah, when she's fighting like Zapan and standing next to that big hulking dumbass dude. She looks fine.
It doesn't even look weird at that point because you're like, man, this is some crazy bullshit going on the screen.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about these eyes anymore?
Because it's stylized enough to where you're like, all right, I can buy anything at this point. I can look at this and say, whatever, I believe it. You know?
Now, all right, continue, and then I got a couple questions to ask you once you finish.
I was a little disappointed in the action. Like, I liked how hard-hitting it was. I liked how crunchy it was, but it kind of felt, I don't know. In some bits, they felt like they could have gone a little bit further with the action, and it felt held back almost. I think I don't know. I want to say like the hardest fight is like the first one. I think first or second one, when
I would say
where she beats up the fucking serial killers and that one chick. That's about
yeah.
it.
That's one of the best ones, and then the other one would be the Blood Bowl.
Yeah, but even that, they started cutting back to Hugo too much for me to really stay interested in that.
Yeah, that
like,
was weird.
I didn't like that at all. I was like, this would have been an awesome just single scene, but then they started cutting back to him, and then they cut out of the race to go save him. Spoilers, I guess, but whatever. I don't give a shit.
Which it's fine. It's fine that they did that, but like it's just I don't know why they cut it up so much.
If they had taken the time to get me more invested in the race itself, I would have.
If they would have taken time to give me more,
it would have made her leaving the race to go save him mean more. You know, because she goes through all this bullshit, and maybe she's about to win, and then he calls for help and she leaves. But she kind of beats up a couple dudes. I think she kills one or two of them, and then we cut away, and now she's getting chased down by like the other three because they're all just there to kill her ultimately.
Yeah. I just wish Hugo seemed like he was more important. It was just like you see like
he felt
4 scenes with him.
Yeah, he felt super kind of like he was underdeveloped. I did like when fucking Zapan stabbed his ass. I pretty much liked anytime something bad happened to him because he deserved it because he was a piece of shit. When he's the head on a cyborg body crawling up the wires, I was like, oh, here it comes. Best part of the movie.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh god, now she's all sad that he's dying. I just couldn't give a shit.
Anytime they zoomed in on her face while she was sad, it's just like
yeah. I wasn't crazy about like the other stuff that would like hint at the future and like them kind of spoiling what she is pretty early on, and you know, a lot of that stuff. It would have been cool if we just got like the kind of drip feedy stuff you got from like the manga and the OVA and stuff.
Yeah.
Because now it's like the instant what the fuck is his name? There was Nova, who was the big guy, but who was the dude who was just the lackey?
Oh, yeah, I'm bad with names.
Vector, I believe. See, here's the thing. He's the fucking, essentially the real villain of the film, and I couldn't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Vector sucks. He's just nothing. Like, the instant they introduce him, he stops being intimidating because they introduce Nova, who's 1,000 times more intimidating.
And also just basically takes control of Vector and just like, hey, by the way.
So at that point, you're like,
nothing.
Yeah, at that point, you're like, all right, he's not the real threat then. So who gives a fuck? Like, anytime he's on screen, who gives a shit?
Because at that point, he's like, oh, you have 1,000 vectors just basically anywhere.
Yeah.
And the next vector can just show up whenever you want.
Like anybody could be this dumb asshole at this point, because he's just some dude being controlled by the main bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, even like there isn't even like when she fucking kills Vector's bitch ass, the dude's just talking through him the whole time, and you're like, it's kind of funny because he's just nothing.
Although I will say the whole sending them up to the top plate and the way they do it is so cool.
It super is, and if that was like a Vector thing that we got to see like him kind of talk about or whatever, like if it didn't really just feel like he had nothing going on at all, if we got to see him be the one like, hey, yeah, this is how we do it. I guess he did literally say that, but it was only because what's his name needed people to experiment on, right? So it wasn't because Vector's just a fucked up psychopath and this is the easiest way to get somebody up there or whatever. It's Nova needs experiments and Vector's just following orders because he's worthless.
Yeah, because he wants to keep his position.
Yeah, he's nothing. And that whole, like the whole I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven thing, that's real cool until you realize he's serving in hell too.
It's like, oh, but by the way, hell is just lower heaven.
Yeah, it's like you're still a shit loser, you know, you're still being controlled by somebody else. What the fuck was that whole speech even about, right? Like, like you have no real power, especially when the dude can literally just possess anyone in the city's body, anyone
that he's given the parts to,
like, and then take over any of them and then walk into your office and fucking blow your head off. Like you're nothing. You're just a body at that point, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but I will say overall, it it wasn't, I guess, as good as I was expecting it to be, but it also wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely a middle of the row movie, but the stuff it does well, it does pretty well, and the stuff it does bad, it does really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, like I could have gone without like the hinting at the future stuff. I would have like I don't like that she was. It seemed like she would just kind of start an arc to be something and then dip out on an arc. I want to be the hunter. I keep wanting to say hunter killer because that's way cooler, but it's hunter warrior.
Yeah,
damn,
warrior.
It's generic. Like that's also what's kind of getting me is that a lot of shit's super generic. Like a lot of the names for shit is just not good. But the hunter warriors, she joined up. She like made this whole big deal about being a hunter warrior and like what's his face allowing her to do it and giving her the body to do it, and then she's a hunter warrior for like one scene, and the whole only thing she does in that whole scene is get told that just because she's a hunter warrior now it doesn't matter, and beats up a bunch of other hunter warriors, and then she gets cut into a bunch of pieces, and then the story moves on. Like, and she's not a real, like, she was like, I would prefer if they showed her beating the shit out of guys over a while, and then that bar scene happens, and it's like even though she's earned their respect, they're not respecting me. It would make the scene make more sense, because when she walks in there and is trying to convince them to do shit, and they tell her to fuck off, I'm like, yeah, because why the fuck should they help you? They don't know you. The first thing you did was walk in here and shit talk their favorite guy, you know? So, you know, if they had at least
and then beat his ass,
and then beat him up, and then beat him up. That's the crazy thing about it. Like, what did she expect was gonna happen? This little girl walks in and convinces everybody to team up and fight the bad guys. They are the bad guys. Like,
so, but yeah. But yeah, no, like that. There's just so much about it that's like this. The pacing of the story, the movie is just so fast for no reason.
Yeah, like,
and then slows down at the worst times.
Yeah, it slowed down all the parts that I fucking hate, like when she goes and finds that body. And I was like, this didn't need to be here.
It did not. When she goes to find the ship.
Yep, that whole it was like watching Man of Steel when he walked into the fucking ship in the Arctic and it gives him the suit. I'm like, oh, it's like fuck. But
yeah,
you know,
not necessary.
Of course, Hugo's dick-faced friend and some Asian chick who's I don't even think is ever even named. She's kind of just there.
She's just kind of there.
Of course, they're there and they have dialogue, so that made the scene even worse. It was super annoying watching all that shit. It felt like they were trying to appeal to like the teenage crowd a little too hard. Like,
which I mean, I get that though.
Because again, it's like the young adult novel shit where they're trying to get something like a big old series out of this, but it really felt like
I would definitely be okay with seeing another one, but
I think a sequel now that Hugo's gone, and maybe it can go a little more hardcore and have her kind of just actually do shit. Like if it can focus on one aspect.
I was gonna say the next arc is her whole Blood Bowl arc.
Yeah, but we already got that because it's at the end of the movie where she's like the champion. Or
right. They fucking skipped the whole thing. They
totally skipped over all of that.
Oh right. God damn it. Never mind.
They totally kneecapped themselves this early on because instead of just focusing on the lower city and all that shit, they started the lower city and the Blood Bowl and a little bit of what's after, you know.
That lower city was like that whole arc is just so much.
Like they really could have got a whole movie out of just doing the more simple, this is what life is like down here arc, right? But instead, they were like, we gotta shove it all in there. You know, it was nuts. It was super, super bad.
So the questions I have for you though, what do you think about the costuming / set design and whatnot? Because I think that was my favorite part of it.
I like the look of the city a lot. Like it felt like a genuinely lived in city. It felt dirty and it
felt like it matched the like the actual comics or manga.
And it's very like like dirty Spanish town, like somewhere in like Mexico or something like that. You know, it's like it and like I'm pretty sure like a bunch of the signs are literally in Spanish, which is cool.
It definitely feels lived in. Like there's a couple times the few things that threw me off about the character design is you'd have like all these cool characters, and then you'd have that random one person who's wearing like 2019, 2018 clothing, and you're just like, hold on a second.
Yeah, just kind of like regular shit. It's
like
kind of it's a little off-putting. I like they're like it's you'll have this super weird, super future shit guy standing next to.
Now, like because the only thing is like they had that in the manga where it was just random people wearing clothing, but it was because I guess it was a manga written back in whenever it was written before now.
The past.
Yeah.
The eloquence of that statement is just off the charts.
Because I don't know how old it was. I think it was the 80s, but
I'm pretty sure it was like it began in the late 80s, I believe.
But because I read it in the 2000s and it was clothing of the 80s, it feels foreign already, so it doesn't feel like, why is there someone wearing modern day clothing?
Because it's like I would have been fine if it was like just background characters wearing modern day or like today clothing, but like it's like Hugo is just wearing like a hoodie. And fucking Hugo's little shit friends are just kind of just wearing regular ass clothes. Like they should have been, and it wasn't even like tattered clothing either. It was like nice brand clothing that they got from the mall or some shit, right? Like it was like super like they didn't look like kids that lived in a really shitty town. You know, they kind of just look like hipsters walking around today. There's no like the only characters that really seem to have any thought put into their design is like the cyborgs, and even they're kind of boring looking because they're just
and
gray
Alita's
cyborgs.
fake father.
Yeah, because he just looks like the guy from the manga who's just a doctor guy who wears a big coat. You know, the fact I like the fact that his hammer was mostly faithful. I thought it would just kind of be a big hammer or something, but it's like the rocket hammer and shit. And
it had a lot of the nice things. Like I do like the amount of detail they put into a lot of the smaller stuffs.
Yeah,
that probably didn't need that much detail, but I'm glad they put it in there for people like me and you.
I'm pretty sure in the original thing, didn't he just like when she decided, hey, can I be a hunter warrior? Wasn't he just like, fuck yeah, because you killed the fuck out of those guys? Didn't he kind of immediately say yeah? Like there was like a little bit of but then he just kind of gave it to her.
If I remember correctly, it was he was against it, but he wasn't going to fight her over it.
Right. So in this, you got to deal with like this whole
thing.
I hated that. Like she literally says in the very beginning, "I'm not your daughter." She makes that very clear. Yeah. You know. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're not gonna put up with that bullshit. But then he's just like, I'm not gonna put you in this armor because it's a weapon and all the fuck. Like, dude, like, and he keeps telling her she can't fight, right? Even though literally the night before she killed 2 cyborgs and ripped the arm off of another, like it was nothing, right? And he's still like, no, I'm gonna fight them or whatever. He's like, it's so stupid. Like he almost gets killed instantly. Yeah. Like one dude, like the dude whose arm she ripped off, really just picks him up at one point with complete ease, and there's nothing he could do about it. And he's telling her she can't fight. That was stupid as fuck. It was super annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's like so obvious that yes, she needs to be able to defend herself, but he won't give her this fucking sick battle suit like this body that's basically made for combat. He will not give it to her because he doesn't want her to fight. Well, she goes out and fights anyway and gets fucking chopped into a bunch of little pieces. Something he knew was gonna happen.
And then he's like, oh well, I guess I should put you in it then.
It's like it was completely pointless. Like she finds the suit and then it's like we waste all this time acting like he's not gonna put her in the suit. Well, we know he's gonna put her in the fucking suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of time wasty shit in there that didn't need to be in there.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so that's Battle Angel Alita.
Yeah.
So just for clarity's sake, the series actually started in 1990.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was first published in Shonen Jump.
Okay, I was thinking like 89, but it was 90. Okay.
Yeah, so close enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that also explains why, like, so much of the clothing was like punk era types.
Okay.
If they're not wearing cargo shorts and socks that come up to their knees, what's the point? Dude, I remember like unironically wearing that shit, and one of my teachers like straight up asked me if I thought that was cool, and I'm like, I don't know, I just kind of wear it, and everyone just But that was like kind of in front of the class, and so like this one girl was just like, no, it's not cool, and then,
That's the worst. So it just goes, nah, it's not cool, bro.
Yeah.
We've all been secretly laughing at you behind your back.
Yeah, they laughed at me. Like I don't even care. Like I knew I wasn't cool at that point. It didn't hurt that bad.
Right. Yeah.
Did you have the fingerless gloves too?
I don't. Well, I did for marching band, but that's because.
Okay. Well, that's for marching band.
Yeah, that was like for practice to keep our hands warm. But I didn't wear the fingerless gloves because I'm a sweaty boy already, so I don't need any more like extra layers. You know?
Yeah. You just gotta teach your body not to sweat in extra layers. That's all you gotta do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me just get heat stroke so I can look as fucking 90s as possible.
Hell yeah.
Stroking on the ground.
I'm sure that will definitely continue to attract my girlfriend, who is definitely not someone who's born in the fucking 90s.
All right. Anything else, Deshaun? You do anything else this week?
I played Hong Kong Massacre. It sucks. I played.
I have no clue what that is even.
It's like a Hotline Miami type game, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
It has a slowdown. It's like Max Payne, but in Hotline Miami style. It's not good.
Okay.
It's not very good. There's no lock on, so fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
I played Ruiner. That's awesome. Well, the gameplay is awesome. The story is kind of because it's like a typical techno noir story, and you're like, you know, you can't trust the person you're working with, and literally everyone is telling you she's fucking you over or whatever, and she's fucking with you and telling you lies and all this shit, and it's like she's clearly lying to you, and she's got you chasing down your brother who's clearly not your brother, and it's so like the whole deal is somebody hacks your brain, sends you in to kill the boss, and then basically she unhacks your brain and helps you escape that place because you fail. And,
all right, no need to go any further. I'm gonna hack your brain. Oh, you failed. I guess I'll save you.
Well, it's because it's like, oh, you're about to walk in and kill the boss. How convenient that I unhacked your brain and, you know, helped you out, right? How convenient, because I'm definitely not the boss. Me helping you right now, I definitely didn't just stop you from killing the boss because I'm the boss or anything.
I definitely didn't just stop you from killing me.
Yeah, so it's a lot of that where it's super obvious, and I wish the game had. I wish more. I know like trying to get the games to have all these super duper complex endings and shit is hard enough, but like I wish games that had stories this obvious would just give me the option to say shut the fuck up at some point, or just like give me the option to not do this thing that I know is bullshit. I know that you gotta like, cause it's the feeling of like they make you do something and then say, ha ha, we tricked you, and it's like, no, you didn't. You just didn't give me the option to do anything else. It's like what's that fucking war game, Spec Ops: The Line, where it's trying to make you feel bad for killing civilians, but it's like, you didn't really give me any other choice. You wouldn't let me move on in the game until I killed those civilians. So like, they gotta go.
I should feel bad for the thing that you forced me to do.
Right. It's like you're literally holding my hand and making me pull the trigger.
Now I was gonna say, I
feel nothing.
If you are doing that in real life, that's a different story. Obviously. But in a video game, it's kind of just like, yeah, I suppose.
Like in a video game where the option is to hit these checkpoints and move forward and complete the game. So, well, guess they got to go.
I want to finish this video game.
Right, like I paid $60 for it, so, or whatever it cost back then, you know. So the kind of like, seeing it be so obvious and me not really caring about the story makes it kind of hard to go through stuff. And like, it's like there's one bit where you have to force a guy to hover over these like superheated pads, right? And as he does, he'll like burst into flames as he's going over it, but it'll allow him to hit a switch that turns them off, right?
Gotcha.
But the game forces you to do that, so I'm like, and it tries to make you feel bad about killing him, but I'm like, I don't.
but I don't.
I just
the answer
can't.
is no.
Yeah, I need to move forward so I can get to the really fun gameplay where I kill a bunch of dudes. But if this guy has to go to do it, I guess he's got to go.
I got you.
So that was annoying.
Anything that didn't annoy you this week?
I feel like we wouldn't have a podcast if something didn't.
I got into Hades finally with my new computer.
That's a good one.
This game is super awesome. I can't really. There's nothing much I can say that a lot of people haven't already said. It's really fun. The characters are great. The art is great. The combat is great. It's like
the dialogue is better than most.
Dialogue is amazing, and there's a lot of it. Like
I need to play it.
So much dialogue. Like if you're carrying a weapon and you're friends with a god, each of the other gods has something to say specifically about that weapon and that god and stuff like that. Like it's little details like that where. Cool. If you are pissing off another god but you're friends with another, then another god will mention it and talk about it. It's insane. If you're like, depending on what weapon you're carrying, like you'll have all the gods saying different shit, and then if you carry a bunch, they'll say different shit about like, oh, you must really like that. I was like, so much. Every time I think I'm done, it's like, nope. Like you can look at the there's a index.
Satisfying.
There's an index you can look at that tells you, that gives you like their character profiles and shit. And it shows you how many more times you can talk to them, and some of them are at like 60 something more times I can talk to them to get more dialogue out of them.
Wow, that's incredible. That's actually incredible.
So it's super good. So there's a character named I think they pronounce it, or is it Megara in this? I hear it different times, but I think here they pronounce it Megara. So, in the animated Disney movie Hercules, it has the same character, right? Mm-hmm. This voice actor is doing an impression of that character from Hercules.
Oh, well, that's clever.
Like straight up, she like her. The only real difference is that this one is more like she's a warrior and she's been in hell, so her voice is a little more scratchy, a little more like breathy, I think, but she's literally doing like the.
Is it supposed to be the same as Meg from
Hercules? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What the?
I didn't. No. He was saying the full name, and I didn't realize. I didn't know if Megarindus might have been like a demigod in Hercules versus Meg. Mm-hmm. So I've never heard Meg's full name, so I was confirming
they say
that's what he was
Hercules,
talking about.
I was to say they do say it. She says her full name, and then she's like, "You can just call me Meg," or my friends just call me Meg.
Again, you guys know me in names.
That's true.
That shit went in one ear and out the others. I can call you Meg.
To be fair, it's a very quick line, because they want you to just call her Meg. So
you want me to call you Meg? Okay, that's the one thing I'll remember you said.
Yeah. But she'll do Meg will blow her hair out of her face, and this one will do that. Her accent, that kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like preppy, but
it's like sultry preppy almost. She's like hot older lady trying to hit on the impressionable teen or whatever. It's super weird, but it's also like that. It's that kind of voice.
She's not even old though. That's the thing. She's 26 in Hercules.
Well, she's older than Hercules though.
Yeah, and I know.
Yeah, she's also much old. Yeah. She's much older in the game as well.
But it's still
funny. But even here, she talks to Zagreus like they had a thing going on.
It's like someone who's on the clock trying to hit on a dude who's serving food. Yeah. You can't quite be as strong as you want.
Yeah, she's you've got standards, but you're also but I also have this.
I really do want
hourglass.
Your number.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But it's super good. It makes each god one of the gods. I want to say Dionysus is just a dude doing a Nathan Fillion impression.
Oh,
1000%.
That's from Percy Jackson, I think.
Really?
I think
because he's like talking exactly like him when he talks to you. It's super cool.
I want to say that they had that. I don't know if it was actually who played Dionysus in Percy Jackson, but it was definitely like the idea was like thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was mentioned in the books that he had like a voice like that.
And I'll have to look at the art again. I'll have to look at the art again, but I think the art is also just he's supposed to look like Nathan Fillion.
I'm down, bro.
Like they're really trying to be like, hey, remember this? It's like a reference to something else with a lot of stuff. So that's fun. I like that a lot. So how many like roguelike games are about getting out of a place as opposed to getting in?
Well, there's Wizard of Legend, which is
and like Exit the Gungeon just came out.
Quest of Dungeons.
There's Gordon Quest, not really a roguelike, but you can make it into one.
Oh, Dead Cells is like that.
Dead Cells, yeah.
Counter-Strike, yeah. Hey, man.
I mean, I guess you do have your runs.
Yeah.
That's like the funny thing about like competitive games like that is like you start out with nothing every time, so I guess they're kind of roguelikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you wouldn't consider them that, but it's like it's interesting to think
Slay
about.
the Spire.
All right, so there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so Enter the Gungeon, and
so
there's another one I can't remember.
The difference between a roguelike and a roguelike is what you're going for.
Yeah, because
Rogue Legacy is a rogue light.
Yeah.
With a T.
Yeah.
And then like Enter the Gungeon, Slay the Spire, Wizard of Legend, Hades. Those are all rogue likes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you literally start off with whatever you like. You have your unlocks, but you don't start with anything special other than your starting stuffs that you always start with.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a rant for after you guys get done.
Yeah.
I played some Lethal League Blaze on my new computer. What else did I do? I watched Song of the South.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. I was like, Song of the what? Oh, that movie.
So, how do you like your racism? Like, how Cameron does it on the podcast, or?
You know what? I prefer how Cameron does it on the podcast because this shit was boring. Man, was it boring. I could barely stay awake watching this bullshit. It was so lame.
Yeah, the weird thing about Song of the South is that the only time it's really enjoyable is when you're a kid and you don't think about that shit.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, it's just like a movie. Like, I remember seeing Song of the South when I was like 4. And because I don't remember why I saw it. Because Disney's like had that shit wrapped up for fucking decades.
Right, yeah.
But like, I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I never thought anything of it until people were like, "Oh yeah, this extremely racist movie." I'm like, "Was it?" Like, I just never fucking like, never even passed my mind, you know.
So me having seen it now for the first time. Wait, have I seen it before? I might have seen it before. I think I might have seen it before actually. So it's funny, but it's super boring. But I was like, all right, they're kind of being a little too lax about what it was like to be a slave and all that shit, and they're kind of treating it like this is some kind of nice little agreement they had, like they're paid employees. Yeah, sure. But the real racist shit is when the cartoon characters come on screen and they're clearly supposed to just be like black people. So you got like the smart black and the dumb black and the conniving black. And it's like they even the way they're colored, like their color schemes are very minstrel showy, where like their mouths will always be white, but the rest of their body will be dark black or the fuck.
This black is an electric type. This black is a fire type.
Yeah, those are the first 3 blacks you get when you start a new Pokemon game.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna take my hand out of the picture here and just let you guys talk.
Well, I mean, you're the one who saw it as a kid, so I mean, you know all this stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
remember it too much as the issue. All right, I guess it's really not an issue now that I think about it.
And you know what? At the end of the day, if they were all colored differently, and maybe the big dumb one didn't care around a big club, this would be a little less racist. The funniest part in the movie is when the little white boy, who I think is like kind of the main character of the film, because he's like dealing with all this shit, and then this black dude shows up and is like, I'm gonna sing you a song, son. And it's a song. Oh wait, yeah, he sings a song and he tells a story about this rabbit or whatever the fuck.
Oh, Bear Rabbit.
Anyway,
yeah.
fuck all that. Anyway, so the little white boy is running away because he's like in trouble for some reason. I don't really remember. Because a bunch of shit. Oh, because the black dude isn't allowed to tell him stories anymore or some shit. And he was like, I want to hear a story. And he starts running away. And he runs to a field. And then a bull is like, huh? And the bull starts chasing the little boy down. And it's not shown, but I'm pretty sure it hits him. And it's like the funniest 2 minutes I've ever seen in my entire life.
Whoops. Well, I just made a mistake.
Did you stop your recording?
No.
Okay, that's good.
I just sprayed ketchup all over my desk.
Cause what have we told you about trying to multitask?
I was trying to stay focused on his story without getting sidetracked, so I was playing with a ketchup packet, and then it exploded.
Got too excited.
Jesus.
Yep.
You trained for this shit for a reason, man.
Well, see, look, I was just messing with it, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait until the top part burst a little bit, you know? But instead of the top part bursting, the weakest part of it, the plastic ripped apart. Oh well. It's
anyway, a little white boy is fucking murdered by a bull, and it's fucking radical.
Fantastic.
I need that as a GIF or a quote passed around Twitter.
We'll just make it the title of the episode.
Yeah. But that was Song of the South. You know what, man? Maybe I'm just totally like calloused over my emotions to just a rock at this point, but I don't know. It wasn't that racist. It was like the cartoon characters were racist and the depiction of slavery was racist, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that bad. I've seen way worse.
I was gonna say, like, you're so there's a couple different types that I've noticed. It's like the people who actually care, the people who like to see it just to see the world burn, and then the ones like could have been worse.
Yeah, because you know what? Oh yeah, I always think about that. I'm like, yeah, but they showed a nasty picture of you in a cartoon or whatever, but you could also be one of these motherfuckers hanging from a tree, or you could be laying out in these streets with a bullet in your back. So at the end of the day, this ain't that bad. It's just Disney doing something dumb. Disney filming a bad movie, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's about it.
On that same vein, you know what South Park episode I saw recently?
The chef episode?
It is not the chef episode.
Oh, no.
It's the one where Randy Marsh says the N-word on TV.
I love that episode.
And I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was hearing that word said so often in a 20-minute span.
Oh, bro, you should watch the Boondocks.
Well, it's one thing if it's like the colloquial.
Does it really make you that uncomfortable?
Well, let me explain. It's one thing if it's the colloquial version of it, that people say to like each other, because that's like that's like homie or bro or what's up, like that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like when it's like the hard ER and like obviously meant to be a racial thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That it makes me really really uncomfortable. So
well, imagine how we feel.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's like the whole subplot of the episode. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, like I've even known people who are not comfortable with even the colloquial term of it. Like I used to work. Well, I didn't really work. I worked one time with a guy who didn't like my choice of music because it had that in there, and then he was like giving me all these excuses for why. He's like, "Oh man, I got a half black grandson." And I was like, "Dude, I really don't give a fuck."
My girlfriend's black.
It's that kind of shit. But like a lot of times when it's people who just aren't comfortable with it at all, it's just another thing they want control over.
Yeah, like honestly, if I wouldn't get beat up in the streets, I would probably use it too. Like, let's be real. Yeah. It's so like it's so seated
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, well, and it's so seated in like meme culture.
Yeah.
On the internet that I've been a part of for years and years and years. If I could literally say it, I would. Not as a racist thing, but just because it's so like universal. Like people from everywhere
also,
say
it. The newer version of it is also catchy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that everybody can say now. Well, kind of.
Yeah, mostly. You look, if it's in a song, I mean, there's got to be like a small bit of a pass.
Well, I mean, what was that? Who's that comedian? Like D.L. Hughley, I think. He would talk about how he would listen to Gold Digger by Kanye West in a club, and he would look for all the white people and see if they would say it, and he was like, and they fucking do.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's what a lot of people do at concerts and whatnot.
Yeah. They're like, this is my one pass.
Yeah, right. You walk in when you walk into a concert, and they hand you your one-time pass.
Yeah.
You can use it,
your in pass plus?
No, it's a minus because in pass premium. It's breakable.
Right. Yeah, and it stops working when you leave the concert.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just one of those things that, like, the colloquialization doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But, like, especially when it's... South Park is so over the top with its satire and social commentary. Social commentary. That, like...
That might be the podcast title.
That, like, it made me extremely uncomfortable because it took it till 11, right?
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do about it. Like, obviously... I okay, I could have stopped watching, right? But that's doing a disservice to Hulu. No, like, but like, there's nothing I could do about that episode being aired, right?
Yeah, I think a big part of what South Park is making you uncomfortable. So, like the whole faggots episode.
Oh yeah, we just watched that. We watched that one too.
Like that one, I think when I first watched that, I was way younger, obviously, but I think I was also in my like trying to be cool to everyone phase, where I was trying to not say like retard and faggot and nigger and all that shit. And then I was like, I watched that, and then I was like, okay, well, if these guys can kind of just fucking say it whenever the fuck they want, I'm just gonna say it whenever I feel like it, you know?
Yeah. And
it kind of.
Yeah, not really, but yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where you feel so uncomfortable with it, where you end up like.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the only thing you can do is either like accept it or just continue letting that feeling.
And I am the kind of guy where I'm like, if something makes me uncomfortable, I tend to try to embrace it sometimes. Where I'm like, all right, this thing isn't really that bad, you know. As the show was making me like, it would make me uncomfortable, but as the show was obviously saying like, this is just a word, and treating it like this gives it power. So I'm like, all right, well, it is just a word, so I'm not really gonna worry about it too much. Which is why when white dudes say nigga, I'm like, okay, I don't really care. Yeah. You know, as long as it's just the colloquial version of it and not like an insult and not you trying to use it every 10 seconds to try to sound cool, you know, because then it becomes obvious.
Yeah.
You know, if you're for a joke or if it's like, you know, you're listen to a song, whatever. But
there's certain things that like kind of pass the, all right, you know what, whatever.
There's another comedian who's like this white dude who's in every single like black comedy movie because he's just in with the black comedy crowd essentially. That dude has N-Pass Premium.
For life in every country.
Yes.
He doesn't need a VPN.
Quentin Tarantino. Guy from Samuel L. Jackson. You know?
You know, the funniest thing about like the whole in-pass thing and whatnot is that it still exists in high schools and middle schools today.
It super does. It's fucking hilarious.
I was cleaning some stuff up, and guess what I found?
What, you found one on the ground, just a piece of paper that said in-pass?
Yup. Yes, I did.
Maybe this is because I never had friends, but definitely never got one of those.
I didn't need one, but I got one every now and then.
Cameron had it like in the back pocket.
Like,
you know, he had one,
I always
really
had one, but since I was hanging around the right people, I never had to pull it out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, not because he wasn't hanging around black people. So
Moving on.
Yeah, watch the Boondocks if you want to get a good taste of that shit. If you want to hear it, or watch Django Unchained, because I think that would make you really
I've seen Django Unchained.
Okay, yeah, because that movie they say it, I think like 125 times.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this is gonna put more whiteness into my background, but I'm okay. It does not bother me as much when it's in a historical setting or context.
Okay.
So like reading Tom Sawyer, for example, it doesn't upset me or whatever, because
right.
I have to put that in the context of the time, and like it's still fucking bad, obviously. Yeah. But like, you can't take that out of it and keep. You get the point. And so
you can't Song of the South it and act like that shit didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
for
like,
me. Well, for me, it's like as long as.
Good.
Okay, so I was gonna say for me, as long as it's in a point of media or not someone on the streets yelling it off at the top of their lungs, usually doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and the other one I think the movie that really made me feel and like separate that like distinction for me was 12 Years a Slave. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you probably did, right?
I did, but I hate that movie.
Really?
I hate slave movies. I don't know. They're so woe is me. I always find them kind of boring after a while.
I guess it was like the first, I guess, like real, like AAA isn't the right word, but like Hollywood depiction that I'd seen. Mm-hmm. And so it was like I could kind of separate the horror as like this is the setting that they're putting it in more than like this is something that makes me uncomfortable, and I could like take it more in objectively. But like South Park was recent, it was like 2011, and the entire time I was asking how the fuck did they get this to air on network television? Like
it's South Park, bro.
Yeah, I just how? Like I'd always seen the setup for the very beginning, where they have like the Wheel of Fortune or whatever, but like, and I'd seen it set up, and I'm like, oh, ha ha ha, they made like the joke, that's whatever. And then I watched the episode, and he actually says it, and I'm just like, oh, they didn't cut away, they didn't. Oh, yeah. I was so taken aback by it.
And like everybody, if you look at the crowd, like the two black people are like the only people mad, and like everybody's like, and it's fucking great. But here, like, it's so weird that South Park gets to do it because Family Guy couldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
You know? And like Robot Chicken couldn't do that shit. Like all these other shows that kind of go super far would never even do that. Would never like really touch it. They like the most Family Guy even kind of gets close to it is with Cleveland, and he's a white dude voicing a black dude. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's
yeah.
Cocial Sommentary.
Yeah, Cocial Sommentary.
Cocial Sommentary.
All right, so let me get on this rant because it's about 20 minutes to pose now. Okay, so I fucking hate the term Souls-like.
Oh shit!
I absolutely fucking hate it because Dark Souls games and like Bloodborne and all that shit. Admittedly, I haven't played Demon Souls, but I've played all the Dark Souls games at least a little bit.
Same thing. Yeah, same thing.
Very rarely do I have a situation where I feel like I've died unfairly in Dark Souls, right? Like, there are the exploration deaths that you kind of, like, somebody pops out of nowhere and you die.
Yeah.
But, like, those you kind of you expect those after the first 5 minutes of gameplay. I was playing Jedi the Fallen Order, like the one that came out last year. There is this part where you are sliding down a like ice slide. I was streaming, and you have to jump onto a rope, like a vine hanging from the ceiling, and then jump onto a platform from there, which is relatively standard stuff for an action game. However, I could not see the fucking vine. And I died like 4 times falling off this fucking thing because I had no clue what to do because I couldn't see the vine until I had fallen off the 4th time and realized, oh, that fucking line of pixels looks mildly different colored. I wonder if that's a thing.
All right, so I'm going to say something very controversial here. So Jedi Fallen Order is... You haven't played Sekiro, right?
Not yet. I need to
It's Sekiro.
Yeah.
It's Sekiro. And I'm gonna say something controversial to some Souls fans. Sekiro is not Souls like.
Yeah, dude, I feel like
no, it's not.
I feel like
it's a Tenchu light.
Yeah, it's it has it because it's from software. It has those elements that make it look like a Souls game, but it's not a Souls-like game. And that's from everything I've seen, from how I've seen the gameplay, and how from people have talked about the gameplay. I think Jedi Fallen Order is more of a Sekiro type game. Everybody calling it a Dark Souls game is wrong.
That's what this rant is about. Is because Dark Souls games are fucking extremely well laid out to be fair when you die, right?
Right.
They're meticulously designed so that you die in a way that you can learn from.
Yeah, or like where exactly you fucked up. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate the term Souls-like because it feels like, and I'm sure that a lot of time and effort goes into games that are considered Souls-likes, but very few of them actually have that same mechanic. Few of them have that same thought put into, like, how you die being a point of learning.
This is 100% true. A lot of games that claim to be Souls-like games are just games that think killing you randomly or in some fucked up way that's not really fair is Souls-like,
Yeah.
They don't really get it.
And it's like people were calling. I remember when Breath of the Wild came out, people were calling it like Souls-like Legend of Zelda, but like
super not.
It's just. I mean,
I remember that.
The combat is like mildly reminiscent, but it's so much more like Code Vein than Dark Souls, and like. You get so much stronger, so much faster in Breath of the Wild that it's just like, okay, this is just a good action adventure game. Okay.
So I was gonna say, Breath of the Wild kind of just feels like the next step in Zelda combat. It seems like it seems like, all right, here's where Zelda combat was.
I mean,
now we're
really
taking another step. We're doing something kind of different for the Switch.
Is it much different than what's called Majora's Mask and what's called other than like, I mean, obviously breaking items and stuff, but is like the actual combat much different than the 64 Zeldas?
Like mildly, but not by much. Yeah, it's mostly just like the difficulty spike.
That's what I mean. Like, it's just the next kind of like, all right, we're gonna start making combat more like involved a little bit, just so you can, just so it's not just you waving the thing around like in fucking what was that game?
Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was just mindless.
Like, and I know like nobody needs my fucking personal endorsement for Breath of the Wild, but it is a really fun game, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think the thing that shows how well the game is designed, and it's like if you're gonna give Souls-like to any game, I'm not saying this one deserves it the most, but the way that things are thought out the most, or like thought out in the game, is very similar in that vein. So like, because like you get one shot by shit at the beginning. Like, it is genuinely harder to fight your first enemy in Breath of the Wild than it is to fight your first enemy in Dark Souls, or second enemy, whenever you get the sword in Dark Souls. Like, because if you're not blocking or you're not parrying or jumping or something, they will just literally like hit you and die. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things that I was playing Fallen Order, and like there were a couple of things where it was just like weird interactions or like animations that looked extremely similar for very different attacks. Like, because for the beginning of the game, I don't know how much farther it is for like into the game, but I'm playing like the first like 3 hours, right? You're fighting like goats and like mountain, like, deer and shit. There's this fucking goat enemy that has, I swear to shit, like animations that look so similar that you have to like notice which nutsack is swinging to like to know if he's gonna charge you or just headbutt you. And it's just like, how the fuck am I supposed to parry this on time when the parry timings are completely different? So it's weird. And I was thinking about that and like, this shit would never happen in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, the parry mechanic when I first played Dark Souls 3 confused the shit out of me because I was like, when the fuck is the parry window? But once you learn the parry window, everything pretty much makes sense. So, I don't know, man. I hate the fucking phrase.
I actually saw a thing that said it's more difficult to do a parry in Dark Souls than it is to do in Sekiro and Fallen Last Order Jedi.
Yeah, the window in The Last Jedi seems very front-loaded.
It's 30 frames, I believe, and it's 12 in Dark Souls.
Yeah. Well, and it seems very front-loaded.
Yeah.
It seems like when you hit the button,
there's a lot going on.
It basically starts the parry.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of times when I was expecting it to be like Dark Souls, where there's like a wind up for the parry, and so I'd hit it, and then I just get smacked in the face. I'm just like, what the shit, like. But
yeah, it's a lot like Sekiro.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a everything. It looks beautiful. It runs well. You know, like I'm keeping above like 120 frames when I'm streaming it at extreme settings.
Yeah.
It's cool. I get to customize my lightsaber. The story seems interesting. The facial. I was talking about this. The facial animations. It blows my fucking mind that the facial like animation and like creation software has gotten so good that we can now create characters who aren't perfect, and my brain doesn't automatically like reject them because they're not perfect. Like the main character for this game has a very like square face. It's very like wide, and it's like this is not your typical leading man face.
Control has the same thing where the main character is not your typical kind of chick character.
Yeah, like he's not ugly, but he's just not like fucking, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds, right?
In fucking The Evil Within 2, on Sebastian's wife's face, you can see her fucking pores, and like you can see like weird blotch marks that are just there.
Yeah, it's
it's super weird.
It's fucking insane to me. Like 10 years ago, we were getting Call of Duty Black Ops, right? And like Call of Duty Black Ops would have been out in about 6 months.
But wait, Call of Duty Black Ops came out last year.
No, Modern Warfare did.
Oh, okay.
I think of Blackout.
Yeah, I was thinking of Blackout. I was trying to make a joke how Call of Duty Black Ops came out multiple times.
Well, I mean Black Ops 1.
Cloud Blops 2.
Yeah, Blops 1 came out, and I remember thinking, oh, this game looks phenomenal, you know? And I still kind of think that because it's a little bit cartoony, so I don't think it's going to get outdated. But, like, I just looking at this game, and it's just like, this game looks so fucking crisp. It just amazes me how far technology has come, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
pretty rad.
It's crazy. Okay, that's my rant on Souls-like. Over.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah,
you're perfectly in the clear for that rant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just hate the name basically.
I don't mind.
It's that thing that like it's going on with like Metroidvania and you know all these games that are very specific. Yeah, or Doom and Signs.
Or
Wolf and Doom.
Wolf and Doom. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Where like the name, like character action games, like Devil May Cry and Revenge and shit like that, where people hate the name because it could mean anything, but it also means a very specific thing. And I think it's very confusing.
I think people are starting to get annoyed with the name conventions of most of genres, so they're like trying to take the specifics and trying to say, okay, this is the specifics we're looking for. This is how we're going to categorize games now, because you can literally call everything an RPG now. Everything is an RPG.
Everything an action game.
Call everything an action game. Like, did you press forward on the stick? It's an action game.
Any movie you can call a fucking drama, because if there's some kind of character conflict, that's drama.
Drama. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I think it's just because there's so many titles now that it's hard to, or so many genres.
Everyone is taking something from everywhere else, right? So now nothing is really what it says it is, at least on the surface.
It's all like what happened to like music post 90s, where there's a lot of just like hardcore and like metal influences getting pushed everywhere. It's just well, it's like fucking. I remember when Assassin's Creed Origins came out. Sorry, it's like mild tangent, but I remember like absolutely disliking the presentation because it didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game, and I was like, "What is this fucking bullshit?" And I mean, I like Odyssey. I like Origins now that I put some time into it, and like God of War has that same kind of like third person over the shoulder like really like action adventure game, right? Like, and that is the quintessential like 2015's moving forward to 2020's like action game. When someone says that,
quick side note, God of War, since we were talking about Souls-like games earlier, plays exactly like a Souls game. Like it's like the actual buttons to attack and do heavy attacks and do the magic and all that shit. It's almost like exactly the same as Dark Souls. Yeah, it's super fucking weird.
But like, I would like that's what I consider like an action adventure game now, right? Like, is that specific setup where it's like that third person camera and like having like focusing on blocking and parrying and shit, And like I wouldn't consider Dark Souls an action adventure game, although it has both of those things. It's like it's very specifically a Dark Souls game.
Right.
And I don't know, it feels like adding this like depth of difficulty into it is artificially injecting the genre with like new life. But I don't know, like I know it's a weird thing to say, but like I don't fucking give a shit if my games are difficult. You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't play single player games to be challenged most of the time, right? Like Dark Souls is an exception. And like I'm okay with like certain games but like being built around their difficulty. But most games should not focus on that. And I feel like there's been an overwhelming focus, especially recently, on games being difficult, even on like normal settings. And I am not a bad video gamer, right? Like, I'm someone who's played like competitive video games and gotten to top 10%, top 2%, you know, fucking scrimming in Call of Duty, like shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm someone who's played competitive games. And my reaction times are not necessarily like slow. Normal video games should not be difficult and rage-inducing for me. But they are. It's just like, and I don't want to fucking play on easy because I don't want to like, if I was going to play on easy and like not have a challenge, I'd just go watch a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just seems to me like we're artificially inflating like challenge and like risk reward or like feel, and I just hate it.
This is the problem with Salt and Sanctuary, because Salt and Sanctuary call itself a Souls-like, but it just puts enemies wherever the fuck, and then they kill you, and it's like, well, that wasn't really fair because you know, you didn't really give me a chance, you know.
Yeah.
I think what it is there's always a rise and fall in this. So I soon we're gonna go back into the fall of where the games start getting easier and easier and easier, and then they're gonna start getting harder and harder, because every single time games start getting too easy, people start craving for that itch that actually makes them try again. And then you get like one or two games that like really hit it out of the park with the way they pace themselves. So it's hard, but it's not like ridiculous. And then you get all these other games that start trying to emulate that. Like what's it called? What's the one where it's like old Mickey Mouse cartoons?
Cuphead.
You don't. Cuphead. Yeah. So you get games like Cuphead, which those games are hard, but they're not like absolutely insane unless you go on hard difficulty, which is
fuck that.
Is what you're gonna get. but you get games like that, and they start getting harder, and then people are like, "Oh, Cuphead, that game was hard. Everybody likes it because that game was hard."
Yeah.
Not thinking about
like
other aspects,
the insane animation that went into the game and.
Or like the pacing of the game, or how cool the bosses actually are versus like how difficult they were.
That's a big reason why stuff keeps just injecting shit from Dark Souls now, because people are like, oh, they must have liked it because it was hard, or whatever the fuck, you know. But
when the reason why you like it is because it's difficult, but within reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
learn, but
you know, what game was like that was fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 on critical mode. So I beat the game with relative ease on proud mode, right? Which is like the difficulty setting, the hard difficulty setting in Kingdom Hearts 3. And it gave me trouble every once in a while, but for the most part it was like relatively easy. On critical mode, I swear to Christ, I'm on like the third battle and I cannot make it past. I spent like, I shit you not, probably an hour on stream trying to get this thing done, and I just gave the fuck up. I actually just rage quit my stream because I was so mad.
Don't forget to fucking like and subscribe. Fuck off.
Oh, it was one of those things.
It sounds like me when I leave.
It was one of those things where it was like they put you up against a large group of enemies, and you don't have access to AoE, and all of these enemies do a shit ton of damage, and you don't have access to a lot of your chasing abilities yet, and you have access to like 2 fire spells, or you have the ability to use fire twice, and so it's just like, well, fuck. Like, I tried for so fucking, like, you don't even have like parry or anything yet, so it's just like I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing, because a lot of the attacks that they have are targeted, and so it's just like I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here, so I just fucking rage quit. But it was just like, it was one of those things where it was like the difficulty does not come from like intention, it came from just like poor execution. And I'm sure it's doable. Like somebody's had to have done it.
Like just raising a number higher or lower in a game doesn't necessarily just make it harder. You could just make the game bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of games do. They'll just raise a number somewhere, and then that'll kind of fuck up the balance of the game and make something feel impossible.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. All right, so speaking of numbers changing, Valorant patch hitting tomorrow.
So what's the deal? So Valorant's still good? Do you think this is gonna fuck it up?
No, it's fine. Whatever. They're changing the economy of the game. So, not like the actual money economy, but like the in-game, like when you
how you buy items.
Yeah, how you buy items. So they're changing a few people's like spells to cost like 100 more or 200 more, but they're reducing the max amount of money you can hold by about 75 or sorry, by about 25%. So it's currently it's going to be about 75% of what you used to be able to hold.
So an ult is the best thing you can buy, right? Or not best, but the most expensive thing you can buy.
You can't buy your ult.
Oh, can't buy your ult.
No.
What's the most expensive thing you can buy outside of guns?
It is generally armor.
Armor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and how much does that cost?
There's two types of armor. There's light armor and heavy armor, and light armor is 400. Heavy armor is 1,000.
Okay.
So.
And heavy armor, how much does that cost versus how much you can hold?
So
3,000 versus.
So you can hold the update is going to be 9,000 max.
Okay, and before it was
12,000.
Okay.
So
and
you should always, in games like this, you should always buy armor if you can. But I was a heavy believer in not buying heavy armor. I always bought light armor unless I was going to be able to buy heavy armor for like the next 5 rounds. So basically, if I didn't have like 6,000 in the bank after I bought, I would not buy heavy armor because I just felt like it wasn't. Essentially, how that armor works in that game is each point of armor reduces the amount of damage you take, and then subtracts that armor from your total. So, for example, like armor reduces 66% of the damage taken, right? And light armor gets you 25 armor, and heavy armor gives you 50 armor. So you get shot, and if something deals, I'm trying to think of like what actually would cause that much, like 66 damage, that would take off all of your light armor, but not all of your heavy armor, right? So, but like the difference between like 25 HP and 50 HP, like relative to the guns and how much damage they do, is significantly less than the difference between 100 HP and 125 HP, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay, yep.
It adds one more shot for a lot of guns to go from 100 HP to 125, or like 100 plus armor. But like, it doesn't add usually like exponentially more shots to go from 25 to 50 armor. Like, yes, you'll take more damage, but generally I found that it's just not worth it that much.
How much gold do you make per round typically?
So the minimum you can make is 1,900, and the maximum you can make is like 3,300 on average. You can bump it up.
How many rounds?
You can bump it up to 4,300 if you get all 5 kills and you plant the bomb, and you win.
Gotcha. How many rounds are there per set?
So your money resets after each side of the map, and each side is 12 rounds. And it's the first to 13 rounds wins.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So there's reducing it by 3,000 actually a significant amount then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like there were times when that's what
I was trying to get to, is see how significant this change is going to be.
Yeah. Well, like there were definitely times where I would have 12k like constantly.
Yeah.
Because if you're winning every round and you're not dying, and all you need to do is rebuy armor and not a gun, that is a significant amount of money that you can save. Because guns are
and
like,
you can buy other people's items.
Yeah, like guns are like 3,000. Like the guns that you should be using, or like quote unquote should be using, they're like 3,000 essentially. So like, if the maximum is 9,000 now, each gun is going to take a third of your wealth.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't think that it's going to be bad. I think it's fine, because there were definitely a lot of times where people would start winning and the other teams just economically couldn't keep up. So the same problem happened in Counter-Strike like 4 years ago, and they fixed it essentially by bumping up how much the losers made, so that way the game was less one-sided.
Yep.
But I think this will also, like, this is essentially good because it nerfs both teams.
I was gonna say it makes it so that way if you are winning consistently, you don't have maximum resources when the sides switch.
Well, like when the sides switch, it doesn't matter because you
not side switch. Tied. I said tied.
Oh yeah,
with the T.
And like it's still one of those things where it's like 9,000 is more than enough to buy like an op, which is the most expensive thing. It's 4,500, but like an op is now literally half of your bank. Like, so
yeah, which means you can't do that 3 rounds in a row
unless you win. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting. But the other good thing about that game that I have been having fun with is that the ranks have finally seemed to equalize out a bit. So it seemed like what's up?
I was gonna just say you kind of know where you actually stand now, rather than
being fucking shit tier. Yeah. Well, I'm still shit tier, but like the thing is like it used to kind of be that like you were either, it seemed like everyone was either placed like platinum or everyone was placed like iron or bronze, and there was kind of no in between.
Yeah.
So there are people who were just like they seemed like hackers, really, like actually just would come around a corner and like not check anywhere else and one tap you. It was people like that, right? That would be in my games, in my like fucking like shit tier games. Like these are people that shouldn't aim, and I know because I am people who can't aim. Like, you know, and people just come around the corner and one tap you, and it's like there's no reason that this person would be here. So
sending killers to the playground, basically.
Yeah, and it was just. I mean, I understand that it was like the very beginning of the rank system, but
yeah,
it is one of those things.
Some people were just immediately kind of soaring above others, and some people were still joining and shit like that.
Yeah,
gods among men.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the other thing too is like in League of Legends that happens at the beginning of each season. Everyone gets shifted down basically, but like in League, there's still a general like the only ranks that are like really over impacted generally tend to be silver and bronze. So it's like middle of the pack stuff. But this was very much. It seemed very much spread out to be very very bottom or very very top with no in between.
Okay.
And so, like, I was losing to people who were, like, just very obviously better than me, but I was just getting pushed farther and farther down the shit heap. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was upsetting and also just confusing. But I'm excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait for the game to come out so I can play it.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight for beta codes.
I mean, they're being a little bit more lenient with them now because.
Okay.
Like, they've upped their server stability and stuff.
They should make it so you're actually fighting over beta codes in the game. Like the more you have, the more losses you're able to take, but when you run out, you're fucking out of the beta.
That would be interesting. That'd be an interesting like way to do things.
That would make some motherfuckers real killers.
Yeah.
That would also make people not stream the game as much.
Yeah, that's also true.
The stream sniped.
You'd have to make it so that way like you can only play and it's always being streamed even if there's like nothing coming out of your game.
I don't know, man. I will say like people are so much better at that game than like even people were at Counter-Strike when I started playing Counter-Strike. Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's just like competitive like gaming in general has gotten so much better at just getting good at shit that like the game has been out for less than a month and there are already people who are like
have what's called flow charts.
Yeah, well, and like there are people who are finding these like extremely specific like map specific things that are super useful but are like like how would you ever think of this? Like there's this one character and essentially they can create a smoke bomb, right? And you have to like I was doing this on stream. You have to like line your face into a piece of wood and look for this like specific crack, and then like
and you can smoke bomb through the wall.
No. You push like and then you turn. You look at a tree, and you go up to a specific branch, and then you take that horizontal, lock the horizontal, and then just go up until you hit another specific branch, and then you jump, and you have to like throw it after you hear the sound cue for the jump, but before you hit the apex, and like when you do all of this shit, it lands in the sight, and you can activate it, and you can see your opponent's legs, but they can't see you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. No.
Shit.
Yeah.
So I love that kind of shit. I can never learn that kind of shit, but I love hearing about that.
Yeah.
It's like the guy who the Modern Warfare people who know the axe specific stuff at the start of round, where like if anybody runs in this specific area, I can get a double kill with his axe because it bounces in such a way that it will hit the ground, bounce back up, go down the chimney, come back out the chimney, and hit him in the head, then bounce off this wall and hit the next person.
Yeah,
it's like people finding broken ass infinites in old fighting games.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's one of those things that like that stuff for Counter-Strike generally, like that takes usually years to find. Maybe not years, but like a significantly larger amount of time for people to like find those spots, right?
Yeah.
And like there's usually ones that are optimized for everything to like be consistent 100% of the time. And like we haven't found those yet, but like just the fact that people have already like, yeah, I'm just going to make this fucking one way. It's just like insane.
I think also there's another aspect of it where it's like there's just a lot more people wanting to get good at this specific game.
Yeah.
Because they know it's going to have some sort of esport attached to it at some point.
Because once people started comparing it to Counter-Strike, everyone was like, we got to get in there.
Esports.
Yeah.
It's how I'm going to be when the fighting game comes out. I'm literally going to be like putting my nose to the grindstone on that game.
Oh, I started playing.
I probably will too.
I started putting a little bit more time into Power Rangers this last week. I didn't go online though, because fuck that.
The online is not nearly as bad as I made it out to be last week. Well, it was then, but it seems to be stabilizing a little bit because I haven't had any shit matches recently, which is nice.
I realized that like I was trying to do all my old combos, and I realized that the muscle memory is still there for the most part.
Yeah.
But it was just gonna piss me off. Like, no, like all my old combos pretty much still work, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, Udana didn't get changed up too much except for very specific parts of the combos.
Yeah, and Sentry didn't seem to get changed at all, which was nice.
No, he didn't get too many changes now.
And Tommy got like more shit available to him, so that was cool.
He got buffed.
But like, I don't know. Like, I know if I go online, I'm just gonna get slaughtered because the only people left. Well, it's like I'm in that position where I'm constantly hitting the people who are good at the game, and getting absolutely clapped, and then I hit the people who are just like actually just shit tier.
So the thing about it is that there's not enough player base to create these tier diversions.
Yeah. It's like a very specific cutoff point. It's like as soon as you hit like 60 medals, you hit anyone in the top like 100.
Yeah. Well, because once you hit 60 medals, you're literally in the top 400.
Yeah, pretty much. So like, I remember that happening last time when I think I hit like plat or I was like pushing to diamond.
Yeah.
I hit like
it
might have been 40 at the time, but you hit like a specific medal count, and then as soon as you do, you only fight people who are like in the top 500.
Yep.
And then if you don't, you hit people who are in gold, and you just run a train on them. Like.
And then every now and then you still run into one of those people in gold, and you're just like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I know you just wanted to play this game and practice, but
you're bad. So I mean, them medals is mine. Like I don't know.
Give me that one medal.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's funny, and like at the same time, it's like it's not.
Yeah, like the main thing is that like the thing that gets me the most is just how little you have to go to get to plat or diamond or whatever. Like diamond and plat for me in Power Rangers are just like joke. That's like bronze and silver to me, which is so bad. It's so bad to say that bronze and silver is your plat and diamond.
Yeah, well, it's like I think it's because the actual competitive community for Power Rangers is like less than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Or at least that we have crossplay access to on PC. Because it like you see the tournaments and stuff, and it's the same fucking 10 people who win or like who are top 10ing, right? And so it's like it's obvious that there's a very like specific hardcore grind for like these top X amount of players. But for everybody else, it's like like I was top 100 at one point, right? Like right before I quit.
Yeah.
But it was fucking night and day between me and Cause or me and Fear, or like me and fucking Thug. Like, I just couldn't win. I was that much worse, even though I was feasibly, top 10% or even top 1%. And so it's like, and I was platinum then. Like, I was top 100 in platinum. So I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. But speaking of that game, I do want to mention that I am going to once again learn how to play the game and try to get back to top 20. I'm switching over into trying out Trini instead of Jason, and we're gonna go in, and I'm going to try to get back to top 20.
I believe.
I currently hover around like top 30, top 40 usually right now. I want to get back into that. I'm scary as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm scary as fuck.
I'm scary as fuck, mate.
Like I want to be able to play that game and people go, "Oh, it's buttons. Ah, fuck, it's buttons."
Yeah.
Yeah, you did make it on that Max stream that one time, and he was like,
"What the fuck is this dude doing?" I was so nervous. Nervous.
He did say something cool, I think, and then he was like, "All right, next guy."
Yep. He's like, "Oh man, that guy actually knows his shit. That's some cool shit he's doing."
Yeah.
All right, next guy. I made it on the Max stream. I beat him.
That's all that matters.
Like, it wasn't the fact that I beat him, because I kind of knew I was gonna beat him after watching him in training room.
Yeah.
It was just I really wanted to show him some tech, and I got a couple things off, but I didn't complete any of my combos that I wanted perfectly. And I was like,
shit, I think I'm gonna get. I got a couple games. I gotta get back into Skullgirls, and I gotta get back into Yatagarasu.
Yo, so, if you want to get back into Skullgirls, like, I will actually dive in with you.
Fuck
if you
yeah.
want.
Is Skullgirls competitive 3v3 or 1v1?
It's competitive, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can go 1, 2, or 3 if you wanted to.
They add that in eventually.
No, I know, but like in tournaments and stuff.
I believe you can do 1, 2, or 3. I believe you still can choose if you want to use 1, 2, or 3 characters.
Interesting.
I have to look it up to double check.
Me too.
But,
I haven't watched it in a while.
For the general though, it's 2 and 3 characters are just going to be what you need to be competitive, because if you don't have an assist, you're not playing. You're not going to get in.
Okay, so like the general meta is 3v3 probably.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's what I was asking.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I'm trying to catch a certain get into fighting games, men. I'm trying to catch them slipping. Know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So standard format for Skullgirls is no limitation on team size, no banned characters. It's a 3 of 5, best 3 of 5, and winner keeps the same team.
Okay, so
Loser
same
can change.
Standard, pretty much.
Yep, but yeah, any team size you're allowed to do. So the cool thing about the Skullgirls when it comes to team size thing is that your HP and damage scales depending on how many characters you're using.
Yep. Yeah. I was playing with Kayla a while ago.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. I always found that like interesting that you actually figured out a way to balance it, so that way if you only wanted to learn 2 characters, you could just learn 2 characters and get disgusting with them.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get back into Power Rangers, but
I was thinking about downloading it, and I was like, nah.
If
not putting that garbage on my new nice computer. I'll wait till it's a little grimier.
If you want to play a game to be competitive, I think Power Rangers is extremely fun. But sometimes I want to play a fighting game and just fuck around, you know? And it's sad because, like, Power Rangers is fucking fun, but you have to dedicate so much fucking time to, like, that Mastodon Sentry combo. I played for like 2 hours this last week, and like, it took me like an hour to remember that fucking combo, you know? And it's like, I couldn't hit that shit online. Like, I just don't have the time yet.
It takes a while. Like, combo practice is one of those things where it's like you just put in like a couple hours a day, and it's just something you have to do if you want to get those combos down.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate that part of stuff. Like, I know it's like practicing guitar or whatever, but like, I don't know. I'd rather just cut my chops on like live shit, you know? Put in enough time to like get it down. But I'd rather just like get over the nerves and just play online. But it's just not fun getting fucking walloped.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if you really want to go with that strategy, the best thing to do is learn the combo so you can accomplish the combo 2 to 3 times maybe in training room. Because what I go for is 10 times. I try to do the combo 10 times in a row without breaking the combo at all. And that's my goal. But if you want to do the strat where you just want to practice in actual matches, you learn the combo so you have it memorized. Not that you can accomplish it, but have the button layout so you know what you're doing during the combo.
Yeah.
Get that part memorized. And once you do that, then you just go on the line and then you try to hit it. And if you don't hit it, you go back, do it once. Okay, you got it once. You go back into a match.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too was I'm pretty sure I dropped like I know it said they reset me to like gold because I hadn't played in like 5 months, and so there was no one on. Like I searched online for like 3 minutes, and I was like, do I really want to sit in queue this long just to get my face smashed by somebody who is just gonna make me upset that they're just mashing buttons? And I'm like, probably not. So I just quit. But like.
Oh man, I can't stand that. I hate losing to people who are just smashing buttons.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's like I know that I played worse, but I just don't want to accept that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I know that in that specific game, like I may have seen him just mashing buttons, but he might have actually had a strat, and it was working, obviously. But it was just like it's one of those things where it's like fuck, I know this is just gonna piss me off. Like,
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, when it comes down to my week, I finally came down to the conclusion of what anime I'm going to watch.
Which is?
Wow. How many weeks did it take you, Cameron, before you finally decided to do literally anything else?
It took me 4 weeks to decide what I was going to watch. A whole month.
Jesus.
So I'm going to finish Mob Psycho because I have like 4 episodes left, and then I'm going to start Megalobox.
Nice. That's a good one to get on. Something short.
Yep. So that.
When are you gonna watch fucking Scissor 7? Season 2 just came out. When are you gonna watch Tres Manos?
I need to get Netflix.
That's true.
I need to get Netflix.
Seis Manos, my guy.
Seis Manos. Thank you.
I
knew the number thing was in there. Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, that's pretty much my whole week. I literally did nothing this week. This week was barren. I played League with some friends. I'm grinding out ranked in League. I'm gold 2 now.
I'm so upset you didn't hit me up, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's literally not because I'm hitting anybody up. They're hitting me up.
Sure.
I promise you that.
I see how it is.
So you can't be like, hey, can we invite my buddy Derek?
No, it's because he's doing you.
Yeah, I was going to say, you only have 2 people.
Oh, I see.
So.
And this is the group of people I've been playing League with recently because all of them are literally just like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Okay.
Like, I understand. I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah, no. One of them is very much plays like me and is just what the new term for us is barbarian. They're very much barbarians with me, and we just go in and do stuff.
Me smash.
Yeah.
And then lose because you guys missed a wave.
Actually, usually we haven't been doing that. It's more just we just go in and just kill someone and then walk back to lane.
Oh, I see. So you just miss the waves when you're playing with me.
Yeah, 100%.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
You make me nervous and I play bad.
And then I get ganked and then I play bad. Feels bad, man.
But yeah. So like it's just a group of people who are just like goofy and don't take the game seriously except for when they do. And I'm like, yay, people who don't take the game seriously except for when they do.
Fair enough.
Derek knows what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
You're no longer on trial here.
See, Derek's League of Legends stuff is my fighting game stuff where it's like, dude, I'm taking this game seriously except for when I'm not. And I'm the exact opposite.
Which is fine.
It's fine. It's exactly fine. Like I don't blame you at all because I'm like, yeah, you should be taking whatever game you want to take seriously, and I'm just like, oh man, this fighting game. All right, I gotta learn everything, and then Derek's like, blah, blah, blah. La 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 la. I'ma do it.
I think my favorite thing was when we first started getting into Power Rangers, and you knew like 90% combos. And I was beating you simply because I was spamming you down on the jump special.
Yeah, and I was like, God damn it, Derek! Once I learn how to beat this, you're not gonna be able to touch me anymore.
And you know what? You're right.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens that way sometimes.
Yeah.
It just happens. All right, but I think that's a podcast.
It's just video games, bro.
Just video game. It's just a game, bruh.
Just a game, bro. What you so mad for, bro?
It's just a game. Why you have to be mad?
Why you have to be mad? All right, where can we find you, Derek?
You can find me at Kim in second on everything.
All right, where can we find you, Deshaun?
Mr. Urban Buddha on Twitter, Mr. Urban Buddha on YouTube, and Super Urban Buddha on Twitch.
Oof.
Because guess what? I forgot my fucking password and shit. Anyway.
Oh, wait, you made a new account?
Yeah, I had to make a whole new account.
Why didn't you just recover your old one?
I couldn't because two-factor identification keeps sending shit to my old phone number, and it won't let me change anything.
That
sucks.
Yeah, I have a hate for two-factor identification or whatever.
Yeah,
verification.
Yeah, it's fucking frustrating. So,
all right,
and every option was like, nah, fuck you. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You can find me, Cameron, at I Press the Buttons on YouTube, Twitter, well, YouTube and Twitch, and then Twitter you can find me at IPT Buttons. All right, and as always, laugh at yourself. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bush. Jag pitchar sin grani. But I was all beauty.